Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Yeah.
You guys, we made it. We're on the back end of the week. It is Thursday. Look at Chandler rocking the merch. I love that for us. It's very, very good. Lou in a different place. We have a fun show today. DeAndre Jordan's back, so we have a lot of questions to get to with him. But we also have a lot of games to react to from last night. We're going to start with the battle out east, Knicks Cavs. This one, not that hard for the Cavs, I'm afraid. 124-105. They're up 3-0 in that season series. Mitchell finishes with 27. Allen with 21 and 8. Garland with 17. Cat had his 25 and 13, but it's second half of this one that was the real story. The Knicks actually had a 15-point lead at one point. The finish line is right there. We can all see it. I'm wondering who can beat the Cavs other than the Celtics. Is there anyone else that they're going to line up with in the Eastern Conference playoffs that can take them out, Lou?
No, it's top heavy in the East. It's a two-team race. You know, even if you look at the backside of it, you got Milwaukee, you got possibly Orlando, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Detroit, Indiana. Like, none of these teams I feel like are going to have what's needed to even compete with the Cavaliers or the Celtics. And the Knicks just showed it. You know, they can't even compete with them, and they're in third place. You know, there's a 8-game gap between them at third and Boston at number 2. You know, so I think this is going to come down to two teams going to battle it out. It's going to be favorable, you know, for Cleveland simply because they have home court advantage. But again, you know, we talk about the Boston Celtics, the type of year they've been able to have. With as much going on, they've been able to fly under the radar because of some of these great stories that other teams are having, including the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know, so with that, I think it's going to come down to these two teams when it's all said and done.
I mean, we had high hopes for the Knicks, right, Chandler? But it's not the same.
Yeah, and this last month, this is not the same team that we had those high hopes for, right? You take Jalen Brunson off this team, they are not even close to what they were. Now Deuce is out, Campaign's out, so they literally have 0 point guards. DeLon Wright did his thing last night, but when you're losing your 3 primary guards, I mean, this is a tall task, especially against a team like the Cleveland Cavs. But it's going to be tough. I think obviously anything can happen. We can't sort of foresee the future, but the Pacers have been rolling. I think they can kind of present a matchup nightmare for any team, just the way they play offensively and the way they shoot the ball. And if Halliburton, he's doing his thing, maybe, but I'm kind of with Lou here. The Celtics and the Cavs are just in a different class as far as everything goes with the other teams in the East.
So I know Tibbs got a little defensive after this one because the big story as well, the story within the story is that the Knicks against these good teams, specifically the Cavs and Celtics, are 0-6. And I know he said, well, we've beaten some teams with over 500, but these are the two competitors they're going to have to deal with. Yeah. There's word that Brunson could be back on Sunday. A lot of pressure on him. Is there anything they could do, Lou, with the return of Brunson especially, that maybe we'll start to look at them a little bit differently, or are they just missing a piece or two?
No, Brunson is going to be impactful, and another thing that we got to consider: by the time that he comes back, he's going to have fresh legs. He's gonna be ready to go. However, when he went out, they were in third place. When he comes back, they're going to be in third place. So they've been able to survive without him, but there's been no movement, right? So with and without him, they've shown that they're a third place team. They've competed against Boston with him. They competed against Cleveland with him. I think they still stay in the same place. You know, I think this is going to be the team that's going to have a great first round against somebody. And then second round is going to get a little chippy for them because they're going to run into one of these teams that they haven't had any success over. So Jalen Brunson is obviously going to have a big impact. But again, impact against who? Because when it comes to these two teams, they haven't been able to get over that hump. Now, everybody else in other 500 teams, sure. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get out of the Eastern Conference, and they just haven't shown with or without Jalen Brunson that they can get past one of these two teams. But, you know, the playoffs are different. The postseason, it creates different challenges for different teams, and we'll see how they match up then. But right now, asking today, it's hard to say that they'll get over that hump.
Yeah, and it's crazy because look at all the stuff they've been through. Look at the up and down kind of roller coaster of a season they've had, and they're still the third best team in the Eastern Conference. Usually that would be that like a success, right? Like usually I'd be like, oh, home court advantage, favorable matchup in the first round. There's obviously some other great teams in the conference, but For some reason, this still feels like a disappointment, which is crazy. I think just because when you add a Karl Anthony Towns, when you add, that good of a starting five, I think there's high hopes. I think there was championship, contending hopes this season. And now we're talking about how it's physically impossible for them to beat the Cavs and the Celtics. So it's crazy because they still have a chance. They aren't the deepest team. Mitchell Robinson's been in and out of the lineup all year long. Precious is now kind of getting his legs back. And I agree that with Jalen Brunson, I think it does help long term with a guy who plays a lot of minutes to have this type of rest where they're not going to shift in the rankings. They're not going to slide down to the 4 seed. They've pretty much been locked in that 3 seed for a long time now. So they and also they pretty much are going to know who they're going to play in the first round. So this is all about getting Jalen Brunson healthy. This is all about preparing for that and being fully loaded when it comes to that chance where they get the Cavs and the Celtics, who they haven't had success with so far.
I hate to look ahead because it does sound like we're all kind of the same mindset that the Eastern Conference will not be New York coming out of it. And look, anything can happen. We get that. Injuries could happen. Who knows? But when you look at this Knicks team, and there's such feel good energy when you go to the Garden, and when they're good, the fans are the best. With Tibbs and what they have now, is it enough? Or if you were to play GM for a split second, Lou, and you look at them, what would they need to add to make them be up in that upper tier?
I gotta be honest. I don't think they should overreact, right? Like this is the first year with Jalen Brunson and Cat being together, and then you work around some other pieces, DiVincenzo going out. Like they've had some turnover. I don't think this team should overreact. At the end of the day, they're the third best team in the East. They're only second to the champions. And another team that was also a 50-win team last year that stayed together, kept the same group, switched to coaching, and then they're right back in the position that they're in. So if the Knicks don't overreact, try to do too much turnover, I think they still put themselves in prime position to still be competitive with those two teams. Like we're not saying that they're going to be a bust or they're bums or anything. They're the third best team in the East, and rightfully so, to two teams who have kept their groups together. Now, if you shake the boat again and you bring in some guys or take out some guys, you're putting yourself in a position to start over again with a new group, with a new style of play. Like, just don't overreact. Keep your guys, allow them to build chemistry, allow these teams to grow together. Again, the only two teams that are better than them are the two teams that use that recipe for success. Let our team grow and build together. So if I'm the New York Knicks, don't overreact. Just continue where you're going.
I mean, but you got to change something, right? Like, if it's not enough now, why would it be enough later?
Because they have the talent and they do have one of the best starting fives in the team. I think they need to add depth. I think with that's proven, especially with the minutes that they're playing. Guys are naturally going to go down. The way the NBA is now, there's going to be load management. I don't think Tibbs can continue to play these guys with how this season went. 38, 39, 40 minutes a night. I think that's going to come back a little bit. But you look, they score the 9th most points in the NBA at 116 points a game. They have the 5th rated best offensive rating in the NBA, and the 14th best defense, which I would think would be flipped with that starting five, with that versatility, guys like Josh Hart, OG, Bridges. I would think they'd be a top 3, top 5 defense in the NBA, and for some reason they're not. So I think over time, I think, give them a full this season, give them this offseason, I think they will come back next year. And I do think, I'm with Lou, I think they are loaded. They just need more time. They need to be healthy. They need Mitchell Robinson. They need guys like that to be healthy and available for this team to kind of reach its full potential.
By the way, we are talking about like they just have the two teams ahead of them. We're not even taking into consideration the West. Like you also have to be good enough to beat somebody in the West.
And by the way,
speaking of,
we still got to play the games. Like we're just predicting. I'm saying. You still got you play the game to win the game, like Herm Edwards said. Like
there's time.
So we're saying what they should and what they shouldn't do. We don't know what New York's Knicks team is going to show up in the playoffs and what's going to happen. Yeah. That's what makes this league so great. So again, we still feel like they have enough to compete. The only reason that this is the tone, you're 0-6 against the two teams that are in front of you, but even still, you're going to run into them in the second round. So with that, anything can happen in a 7-game series, anything.
And by the way, the Pacers, the Pistons, and the Bucks are no slouch either. So like whoever they face in the first round too, it's going to be a dogfight.
And by the way, taking into consideration, all those teams may change a few things too. Like that's the thing. Not everybody's going to stay as constructed. That's the East. We got the West, and they cannot be stopped. No one's stopping the Thunder, ladies and gentlemen. No Cade for the Pistons. Doesn't matter. 119-103 OKC. SGA 36-6-3, 3 steals. J-Dub 23-5. Chet finished with 22, 6 blocks. They've won 11 in a row, 18 of their last 19. They also, and this is key, are 29-1 against the Eastern Conference this year. That is an NBA record. And they are doubted by many because we just haven't seen them do it yet. That number is interesting to me, Chandler. So that being said, who's beating them in a 4-game series? Go. In a 7-game, but for 4 times in a row.
You got to look to the Celtics or the Cavs. I think that's the biggest threat, right? I think the West, obviously, I think it's the Nuggets. I think it's the Lakers. They're going to be battle tested, and I think this is good for a young team to be in the best conference. I mean, they are battle tested. They don't have that many easy nights, but look at the sheer domination of the East, 29-1. And they're ahead. Obviously, the Celtics are the biggest, scariest threat, but that's in the NBA Finals. They have ran through the East this year. They've done it in so many different ways. They've done it by locking in and holding teams under 100 points. They've done it by scoring over 130 points. They've been consistent. They have been. They're one of the deepest teams in the league. It's good to see J-Dub back. Doing what he's been doing all season long. So listen, it's hard to pick any team to give this team a run for its money. They are so good. They can beat you in so many different ways. Maybe it's one of these vet experienced teams like the Nuggets, like the Lakers, the Warriors. That'd be a fun series, but I can't see one of these up and Rockets, Grizzlies. I don't think they'll have a problem with either of those teams. It's going to be one of those other teams that kind of challenge them, but they're still my pick to come out of the West. They are loaded.
Lou, you know what's crazy about it too is a lot of times we think about the road to the finals and, you can get tired out. You can have battles along the way so that by the time you get to where you're going, you're depleted. I think what's scary about OKC, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Lou, they're so young and deep that even if the road is a battle-tested road, they have so much youth that I don't think they'll get run down like another team might.
But they enjoy the road, though. You still see these guys, and we've gotten so immune to them doing these post-game interviews collectively, having fun, doing the commercials together. All of those things matters. It matters because when you get to the end of the season and you're cranky and you're irritable, and I've been around these guys for every day for the past 6.5 months, you need something to rejuvenate you. These guys doesn't look like they need rejuvenate. They look like they genuinely enjoy competing together, playing together, and it feels like these guys are all on the same page. Like they know they have a unique opportunity in their careers to do something special, and they're not gonna let that opportunity go to waste. I think that's what I see when you see these young guys. Like we've seen some, and Chandler can attest to this. We've seen some young guys that have a bunch of talent that squander away great opportunities. This team doesn't do that. Like there's no conversation about who's the second best player or who's doing this, who's doing that. It's like, no, this is a selfless team that go out and compete well together night in and night out. They're having fun doing it. I think they come out of the West easily. I don't want to say it like there's not a Denver, or there's not a Lakers or any of these type of teams in the Western Conference, but they've shown you like we're ready to go. So I took the training wheels off this team a long, long time ago. Like no excuses to be young, and it's not even a caveat for them to be young. Like no, this is just a really, really great basketball team, and they have great things ahead of them by the way that they carry themselves and the way that they compete.
Yeah, the youth is a positive thing. We keep looking at a negative. They're going to be doing this for years to come. And again, do they have the experience of going on deep runs yet? No, but at some point they're going to. So why are we holding that against them that they haven't done it yet? They're probably going to do it this year. They are loaded. They have the MVP on their team. They probably would have had 3 All-Stars if Chet stayed healthy. Like they can do it all. They're well coached. They defend, and everybody knows their role. I've talked about this so many times with this team where when you are like the 9th, 10th, 11th man, which they have really good ones on the Thunder, you always think, man, I could be doing more. I want to leave. There's always disruptions. There's always distractions. You never hear anything negative coming out of this locker room. You never hear anything negative coming out of this franchise that Isaiah Joe is unhappy or there was a dust up at shoot around. This is just all business. So it's almost like as young as they are age-wise, they act well mature and wise above their years. And that starts with SGA, just the way he carries himself. Media on the court after a big loss, after a big win, they are the same team and they come back ready to play the next day.
There's another stat. There's going to be a stat every day from here on out. But the win was their 50th of the season by double digits. So take a look here. They're the first team to reach that since
That's nuts.
1972 in the Lakers. Every single one of these, they won champion. Like, you can see it right there. It's written for you. So that's a nice little trend if you believe in sort of analyzing the data and running with it. Do you think that this is the year? Look, Lou, I know you're giving them no excuses, but there's one thing to make the finals. It's another thing to get there and then have to face, say, a Boston Celtics team. Can they do that?
The numbers show it. And again, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm biased in this area when we talk about OKC. SGA is my rook, right? And so me seeing the level of success that he's having, and he's at the front door knocking on that door to get a championship. And that was something that we were trying to collectively do. And then he gets traded, and the Clippers feel like they had a better opportunity with veteran guys at that particular time. And, 5-6 years later, now he has an opportunity to go out there and get a ring. Nothing to make me more happier than to see him have that opportunity. Now, I got a lot of great relationships around the league. I got relationships with Tatum and Brown. Like, I want to see all my little brothers have an opportunity to all have rings, but SGA is different for me. Like, that's somebody that I was in the trenches with, that I really believed in as a very young player in this league. So to see him as a veteran now with a chance to get an MVP and a trophy at the same time in the same year, I got to root for that. That's my position. I got to root for that. I can't go against it.
And they got theirs. They got theirs.
And you know what? They're easy to root for. Like, I'm not close or cool with any of those dudes, and I love them. Like, I'm a fan. Like, I like watching them play. I want them to win. I want them to get over this hump and win an NBA championship. And by the way, if they do it this year, they're probably going to keep on doing it, because then they're going to have confidence. God knows what, vet free agents they can add to this already loaded young core this offseason. The moves they even made, we have the Carusos, the Hartensteins, they're brilliant moves just to pair with these guys. So if they get over the hump this year, that sucks for the NBA, because they will go on heater and turn this thing into a dynasty, no doubt in my mind. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to get out of the West, even how easy we're talking about it. It's not just going to be easy. The Luka and LeBron aren't just going to lay down. Jokic has been there before. They're not going to lay down. We haven't even talked about the Houston Rockets, who've had an unbelievable season just because they're also youthful and inexperienced. So it's not going to be easy, but I'm pulling for them. I really am. I think this team's awesome, and I think they are going to be the best team in the NBA for the next 5 to 10 years. They are that good.
Yeah, the face of the Western Conference, it's changing in real time. We're sort of watching the transition as it occurs. SGA has now scored 20 or more points in 69 nice consecutive games, tying Michael Jordan for the most in a regular season since 1962. So as a pure scorer, as far as pure scorers go, Chandler, in the league right now, can you put anyone above him?
No, look at his numbers. Look what he's doing. And anytime you're in the same breath as that dude, Michael Jordan, you're doing something tremendously right. So 69 straight games. I always love these stats, because this just shows the work ethic. This just shows the time he's putting in the training room, staying available. This just shows you how consistent he is. And when it's a guy like SGA, and he's the head of the stake, the entire scouting report for these teams is to try to eliminate him, try to double team him, try and get the ball out of his hands. And he's still so good moving without the ball. He's still so good getting other guys involved, and the ball coming back to him. His timing, his action is unbelievable, where no one can speed him up. So yeah, I think he's probably, look at his number. I think he's leading the league in scoring, right? So it's hard to put anyone above him.
I love the idea of try to stop him. It's not working. So figure something else out. Guys, we're going to take a very, very quick break, because on the other side, he's back. DeAndre Jordan back on the show. Perfect timing. We'll be back.
Run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back, yeah.
You're looking at the winner.
What a monster jam by DeAndre Jordan.
When I wake up and look in the mirror, I'm looking at a winner and looking at the champ.
That's right. The champ is back. DeAndre Jordan, 35 minutes last night, by the way. No Jokic. Let me ask you this, and I'm not even kidding. Chandler would literally call out sick today if he had to put in any kind of effort like that. How are you feeling, DJ?
You know what? I'm honestly, I'm feeling good. I just picked my son up this morning, and my back got stuck. So, yeah, but I'm good though. I'm solid. plane is a little later on today, so I got some time to get warmed up before I drive. So it's
Okay.
good. It's good.
But you didn't call in.
Yeah, I'm what you call, I'm what you
Just
call a
pro.
big load management guy, DJ. Big load management.
Yeah, I mean, like after
now.
you turn after 35, it's kind of like, I'm on load management every day, even at home. I just
Yeah.
You want me to go up and down the stairs, carry kids. It's kind of I like to be on the main level, just kind of relax down there.
You know what? What I started doing, DJ, I stopped buying houses with stairs. I went one floor. That's the next step.
You went
right?
ranch
You just
style
do a
on.
giant, like you just do big old one floor, and then that's it. Old dogs, old
That may
people.
be my
works for
future for
everybody.
sure.
Okay, so a lot of guys did not play last night. Basically, everyone. So the starting lineup had a different look, a different vibe. What happens on nights like that where it's just complete like hockey line change and you're looking around going, well, these are some faces we don't always get to see. Are you as the vet, the guy that's sort of like, all right, guys, let's go?
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity for guys that don't really get a lot of minutes during the regular season to go out there and kind of showcase what they can do and, just kind of have fun with it. We had guys that hadn't started before and go out there and do do their jobs. But I think it's a great opportunity for guys to just go out there and just get some minutes, make some mistakes, and not have such a short leash. Obviously, we still want to win games and still compete, and I think we competed last night. We just came up a little bit short, but in those games, it's kind of next man up mentality and a great opportunity for other guys.
DJ, a few weeks ago, Jokic was out. You played 38 minutes and 31 minutes in back-to-back nights. Now, obviously, Jokic, he plays a lot of minutes. He's reliable. Does this kind of show you and prove to you that, listen, I can still do this after 17 years? And do you, like, as enticed as it is to come and be our fourth host on this show next year, do you multiple years is continuing to play? Because you look great. And obviously, you're sore today, but Jesus, how do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely fun, and it's a confidence booster for me to know that I can go out there and still compete at a high level and be productive and help my team win games. But hopefully they'll let me sign like a two-way next year, and then I'll be able to like do half the games and then half with running back.
Yeah.
No, but it's great, man. Like I mean, I know I'm not gonna play 38 minutes every night, especially on a team like this. But I know with minutes and with consistency, I'll be able to go out there and produce and make winning plays for our team. So that's always a good feeling to have.
Game of the year on Tuesday against Minnesota, easily. And afterwards, Anthony Edwards said it was the best game he's ever played in. Now, his sample size might be a little bit smaller than your sample size, so I want to hear it from you. As far as games that you've been in and been a part of, where does that one rank?
Ooh, that was that's probably one of my top games to be a part of. Even though I only played about 6 minutes in that game,
Counts.
I thought it was one of the better ones. Obviously, us in Minnesota have a lot of history, at least over the past 3 years that I've been in Denver. And they're a great team. They play us well. They kicked our ass this year. But that game I thought was great. We came up very short at the end. NIKOLA had a historic night, and a lot of other guys played great and played big minutes. But obviously, like winning Game 4 in LA to go on to the finals, winning Games 3 and 4 in Miami to give us a 3-1 lead were great games that I've been a part of. And then obviously us winning the championship was probably my favorite game. But yeah, the game Tuesday was insane. And I think that, it just shows like how deep our team goes and also how, how tough the playoffs are going to be.
Yeah. Dre, you talking about the playoffs, and it comes down to matchups. But with that, Minnesota's 4-0 against you guys this year. Is that a concern to you guys? Is that something that you look ahead to? Walk me through your mind state when you have a series like that against a team.
I mean, it should be a concern. I think anytime a team sweeps you throughout the course of the season, it's concerning. We don't want to overreact, but we definitely have to look in the mirror and look at film and look at different ways that we have to be successful. Because we've had success against Minnesota, just not longer than they've had success against us throughout the game. So I think we have to come to playing as close to perfect as we can for 48 minutes against a team like that, and give guys like Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle and Naz Reid different looks in order to, throw wrenches in their game plan, and then also, attack those guys defensively as well. So I think it's tough, but that's what the playoffs are all about. Every game is going to be different, every possession. So we just got to figure out ways to, be able to exploit offense and defense.
So obviously, as talking heads and fans, we spend a lot of time sort of refreshing the NBA standings day to day and how many games back and what are the matchups going to look like and all that. As an active player, like you're in this, you're in the playoffs. Do you look at that, or as a player, are you just like it doesn't actually matter who our first matchup is?
I think anybody who says that is a liar. I think that throughout early in the season, I don't really look at it too much because the first 20 to 40 games, your seeding isn't going to stay where it is unless you're up 10 games or something like that. But like the last 10 games of the season, now that it's so close, I'm definitely looking at it after games and checking out other games to see if we're going to move up or down. But I'm still focused on us and us getting better. I think right now we're fourth, but that can change tomorrow, or tonight. Yeah. So it's an opportunity for us to, get the best seed that we possibly can. But you look at all the other teams and they're so close, and the West is super tough this year. So no matter who you play in the first round, it's going to be a tough matchup.
And without obviously naming teams, do you look at the standings? Do you talk to teammates about, ooh, this would be a better team for us to play? Or is that just not to be said out loud?
I think we talk about it a little bit, but for me personally, I think that the higher seed, the better. I'd like to have home court for as long as we possibly can throughout the playoffs, and I think that that's important, especially playing here in Denver.
DJ, we mentioned the Jokic 60-point triple-double on Tuesday, just absolutely insane. Yeah, he's probably not going to win MVP, which is, again, that's credit to SGA, but there's still some basketball to play left. Do you think the voting is technically over right now? Do you think it's already in their head with this little of time left? Do you think the voting is over? Or do you think Jokic still has time to make a push? And what would your case for him to be to actually get over the hump and win it?
I think that Shea still has some time to push, to try to win it.
Hey, that's a good teammate right there. Yeah, that boy good. Hey, good.
No, I think that, you kind of got to take all of these things into consideration. Obviously, Shea is playing amazing basketball. He's a hell of a player. I love watching him play. And also, I'm seeing Jokic every night do insane things. And, if you take Jokic off of our team changes drastically, as we've seen before. And that's no knock on our guys because we still come out, we win games, we compete. But his usage rate is so high and he does so many things for us on both ends of the floor. His value is unmatched, I think.
Do you think there's issues with how these, awards are decided? Do you think voter fatigue is a real thing? Obviously the best, I think everyone agrees the best player in the world is Jokic, right? Yet he's probably not going to win MVP. Same thing with LeBron for all those years. Do you think something has to change for that? Or do you just credit the guy with the best individual season and team success like in SGA this year?
I think you credit it to that. Obviously, NIKOLA puts up great numbers and he helps our team win. And I think he is the most valuable player in this league. However, I understand what OKC is doing. Shea's doing great things. He had a great season last year. They've won 60 games. That hasn't been done for a while. And they're number one in the West, which I think, attributes to a lot of that. And then a lot of that is him. So, whoever wins it, I think they're going to be more than deserving of the award. And honestly, you can't go wrong. Obviously, I'm voting for my teammate, but Shea definitely he also deserves it too.
It's a good problem the league has right now that this guys are so good that we can't figure this one out. We're going to put pressure on you every time you're on for a Jokic story. I'm kind of also curious about the game the other night, 61 points. He's so dry when he answers. That's why I think he's just so fun. But do you have any stories about after that game? Was he upset? Did he have some sarcasm for you guys? How did that one go down?
Well, he obviously played great. And, he played about 53 minutes or so. So I'm leaving out the locker room, and I see him in the training room getting worked on. I'm like, yo, good game, big fella. And he's like, hey, I'm not playing tomorrow. My back hurts. You have to play. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, so I knew after the game, like, he's probably gonna be out. So I knew that last night was gonna be my time to shine.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, look, the heads up was there. You guys have a post-win tradition. Where did it start? What is it?
Joke and I?
Yeah. Is it the Serbian thing?
Yeah, it's a Serbian greeting or maybe a farewell as well. My first year in Denver 2 years ago, I saw him and Boban do this three kiss thing, and I've seen people do it, and I'm like, what's that? And he goes, it's a Serbian thing. You don't know anything about this. And I'm like,
oh,
hell no. Yeah, I'm Black Serbian. I'm Jordanovich, so you got to teach me this. So that it just kind of happened, and he showed me. I'm like, okay, cool, this is nice. And one game we won, he came up to me and he's like grabbed my shoulders, and I'm like, oh, I can't mess this up. This is it. Like, I can become an honorary Serbian today. And we did it. And he looked at me, he goes, good job. And then after that, it just kind of came. I think so. We do it every time we win.
I can't mess this up. That would have been awkward too if you messed it and go the wrong way.
Yeah, that would have been pretty bad, especially with all the cameras we got in the arena. I wouldn't have been able to let that down.
One of your teammates, the young kid, I think he was right behind you guys. You see that viral video of him looking at you guys?
I did see that. I think he out the corner of his eye, it probably did look a little suspect, but
I like it. I like it. You're a hero.
It was funny.
Hey, Dre, Tuesday was April Fool's Day, and I caught wind of y'all social media playing pranks, and they opened that box with that fake spider, and you did not like it, big fella. You got a little phobia? You got a little arachnophobia?
No.
What's going on here?
In my defense, she was like, this is the toughest box in the world to open. And I'm like, all right, I'm sure, But then when I opened it up, the damn thing, it was like it just jumped on my hand. So I didn't like that. And I also don't like my reaction, like both hands in the air, I didn't. It reminded me of my Mrs. Hooper days.
Hey, you getting old, big fella. It's hard to be jumpy. It's all right.
That's not good for my heart rate, man, especially before the game like that. I need to be calm.
Look, have you ever played any crazy pranks on anybody? What's one of your most memorable pranks you could think of?
Man, I've had a ton of crazy pranks, but I actually got twice this year. My nanny here told me that she texted me and was like, I couldn't tell you at home before you left for the game, but my husband got a new job and we have to move to Florida in September. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, damn, so I called my wife. I'm like, hey, she just told me this. And she goes, you think it's an April Fool's joke? And I'm like, no, because she was acting weird today. So I tell her, I'm like, hey, I'm so happy for you guys. I appreciate it. We're going to be sad, but we'll figure it out. And she's like, yeah, I know. I'm just so happy I was able to get you on April Fool's Day. Gotcha. And I'm like, that's not a good joke because I'm thinking about my kids.
Mean.
So then she's like, hey, make sure you take all your frustration out on the court today so I can have fun at work tomorrow. And I'm like, hell no. It's going to be a hectic month for you at work this month. So
wow, your nanny sounds awesome.
I like the nanny just on it. Yes.
Yeah, she's great. She's downstairs, which reminds me I got to go and flick some game today.
Wait, can I ask one thing about the Japanese? Because I love when Americans try to learn languages. We should do it more. But you're crushing it. I see you on Instagram. You've got the book going in the arena. How far along are you on the Japanese speaking fluently?
I mean, I can talk about certain things. However, when the conversation does get a little out there and a little fast, I gotta be like, hey, mo ichi no ite kudasai, which is repeat it again, slow down, give it,
Hey, Drake.
So,
Gakko wa doko desu ka?
Oh, here we go.
Gakko wa doko desu ka? That's where something. Gakko wa, what's Gakko wa?
Where did you go to school?
Brown no Gaku guy. Brown no Daigaku.
Okay.
By the way, awesome.
That's the only sentence I know, by the way.
By the way, Lou, of all the things you've learned, why would you learn that?
April. Look, I wish it was April 1st. He was confused. He was so confused.
But what?
I was like, oh my God, I can't mess this up. Golly.
I know, but of all the sentences to learn in another language, where did you go to school? How often do you need
when
that?
When I was in school and we were going through Japanese and dialects and everything, I made it a mission to at least remember one thing that I can always have. And 20 years later, I got to use it. Here we are.
Here we are.
Who needs college, Lou? Who needs college?
Dre, I want to ask you about a former teammate of yours, Team USA, also with the Lakers, Carmelo Anthony. He got his election yesterday, Hall of Fame. What was it like playing with him? You want to speak to any of his accomplishments? I just want to give you the floor to give Melo his flowers, man.
Man, Melo obviously is a Hall of Famer. I had the privilege of playing with him twice. We won a gold medal together back in 2016, and then short stint with the Lakers, which was amazing. And to be able to play with a guy like that who's given so much to the game. And I had a Melo jersey in high school.
Yeah, I did too.
So that was just, kind of like a dream come true playing with a guy like that. And just for him to do it for so long and at a high level. One of the best scorers to ever play this game, and a great teammate, a great man. So he deserves it. I'm very happy for him, and congrats, Mel.
DJ, I got to ask you about a comment, a real zinger from Doc Rivers a couple weeks ago when he said he does not get enough credit for winning 3 games in those playoff series where he blew the 3-1.
Why y'all ask me this?
I gotta ask.
It's not a y'all
I
question.
love it.
I gotta ask.
All Chandler. This is all Chandler.
Yeah, this wasn't on the script. I just had to ask. Are you rolling with this? Or is this one of the more shocking comments you've ever heard?
It's factual.
I think my segment is over with.
I thought I got Sid and Tell when I read it. It was dead ass.
Oh, man, it is.
Hey, Dre, I ain't got nothing to do with that, dog.
Lou, I don't want nothing to do with this, man.
I know you don't. I know you don't. I don't want.
I feel like everyone loves Doc here, but that's what makes the quote even better.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just is tired of hearing that, and I'm like, maybe that wasn't the best rebuttal for
God, I love
conversation.
Chandler still loves it. He's still thinking about it like it was yesterday.
Lecture 101. Well done, DJ.
Yeah, that was well done. It was very, very well done. DJ, always love having you on. Crush the rest of the way. Cannot wait for these playoffs at all.
Good luck, bro.
Keep rolling, brother.
We'll be right back with Anthony Slater talking to Bay.
Run it up, run it back.
Okay.
From The Athletic, we're bringing Anthony Slater back on. It's almost as if we time this perfectly, Anthony, because every time you're on, and maybe it's just Steph. Steph just does something crazy like the game before. So we're coming off that 52-pointer, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals, yada, yada, yada. In your years covering the Warriors, I mean, where do you rank this performance by Mr. Curry?
Somebody asked me that the other day, and I was like 24th, 25th, maybe.
Perfect.
At least second this year. You guys talked to me after that road trip they had, whatever, a month ago at this point. The Orlando game this year, I would put above that. I guess the stakes of that game raise it a little bit, but the other thing is his playoff resume. I think those games matter more, right? Like the Celtics games in Boston, the Oklahoma City games that he had in those series way back. Houston, remember when he had 33 second-half points to take down Houston when Durant was hurt? Like, if we're considering playoff resume, I would consider so many of those above like a regular season game.
It's just we're so spoiled. One day he's not going to be playing anymore. We're going to miss all this. But Steve Kerr described his performance as, quote, incredible, the skill, the conditioning, the audacity, the belief. Audacity I find interesting in this one. So who has more audacity than Steph Curry?
It's funny you mentioned Steve Kerr. With Steph, he's mostly talking about some of the shots that Steph takes, which Steve's kind of like old school. You probably remember the famous video facing the Clippers when he kind of almost dribbled backwards and then kind of flung this like turnaround 3. It was like Steve Kerr's first year coaching. and Steve's like grabbing his hair at the scorer's table, and then he hits it, and it's like he says that's the moment he just said, you know what, I'm just never gonna complain about shot selection with Steph. The other day, I'm sitting courtside. We have really good seats in Memphis. Steph hits the 30-footer to get to 32 points late in the first half. He turns around and it's just looking like, what? Like he even shot that? So it's funny. It's year 11 of Steve coaching him, and still some of the shot selection, I think that's what he's saying with the audacity.
I love it. I love the word there.
Anthony, with where these guys are in the schedule, do you see them staying put at 5, or do you see them possibly putting pressure on that 4? I know they're 2 games out, but they're also a half game out of the play-in as well. So where do you see these guys being seated?
Anywhere between 3 and 8. It's crazy, isn't it? The next 2 nights will dictate a lot. They play the 4 seed tonight, the Lakers, and then the 3 seed the next night, the Nuggets. So sure, they could climb, but as you mentioned, let's say they lose the next 2 nights, they could be an 8th. It just happened in Memphis. They've free fallen to 8th. The problem for them is the timing of them playing the Lakers and Nuggets is very hard. I'm on day 14 of a 14-day road trip right now with them. This is the longest road trip I can remember them having, 2 weeks. Remember the Jimmy Butler Miami return game? That was game 2 of this road trip. That feels ages ago. Like they're still on the same road trip. And what makes it crazier, and this is, I would almost want y'all's perspective as having played in the league. What they say is very rare is they're exiting this 14-day cross-country road trip, began in Atlanta, ends in LA, and they're going home for a back-to-back tomorrow night for a Nuggets team. You just talked to DeAndre Jordan, waiting for them. And that part of it is like, they're getting home off 2 weeks, putting their bags down and going to play the Nuggets tomorrow night. So to your question, like this is going to be really two hard games for them. And if they lose them both, sure, they could really fall back into the 7-8, but they somehow find a way to win them, they could get home court in the first round.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
We've talked about obviously how loaded the Western Conference is, but the impact of Jimmy Butler is insane. And with Steph and Jimmy in the lineup, they are 18-2. So obviously there's this boost of confidence when you acquire Jimmy Butler, but has it changed just kind of the view of this, what the ceiling is for the next couple of years, just adding a Jimmy Butler and the early success that they've had with him in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, Kerr said the other night he saved the season. I mean, it's very true. Like if they didn't make that trade, they probably would have been. I think they would have been ahead of this, Suns, Kings, Mavericks group where nobody really even wants the 9-10 seed. So they probably would have been the 8, but I feel like they would have comfortably been the 8, wobbled around in the play and maybe got into Oklahoma City in the first round and got, popped pretty good. Now there's like an internal level of confidence with Jimmy Butler. Obviously, they're very different in crunch time. I mean, beyond all the stuff he does over the course of the game, I believe they're 8-2 now in clutch games with Jimmy Butler. And you saw it the other night. Fouls out Jaren Jackson on a pump fake with 1:55 to go. Huge play in that game. Hits both free throws. So he goes 12-12 at the line. They went 28-28 as a team the other night. Prior to him getting there, they were like the worst free throw shooting team in the league and like 4th fewest attempts. That's completely flipped. And then on the other end, the other night, guards Ja on a switch and it takes the ball from him with about a minute left to basically seal the win. Like those are just plays they weren't getting to close down wins prior to him arriving.
And in that Memphis game, he did tweak his ankle. Is he fine? What's the status with that?
Yeah, I mean, he's not listed on the injury report. He will play tonight. I will say I saw him in the locker room, and he's over there grabbing at that left foot ankle area, grimacing. I asked him about it. He says Zach Edey stepped on him. It's like about the biggest foot in the league to get stepped on. You could tell he was really frustrated about it because you guys know, I mean, look, he's going to play tonight, but he's going to play with that foot or ankle is going to be feeling a little bit more tender. And you could tell he was feeling really good before that. Now he's got a little bit of a bump or a bruise.
Can we go back 6 months to the Miami return of Jimmy Butler? And I'm not going to ask you anything serious. I really just want to know about the Big Face Coffee. Discounts were extended to Warriors people. Did you get to partake? Was it like a $15 cup now after the discount? How's that work?
Well, it said it was $30 for a discount. And I was like, that's the discount? I thought it was a troll upcharge, but no, apparently it was a discount to get it
for a cup.
Yeah, I went over there. It's kind of a cool setup in a spot. And Jimmy likes, I guess his money, and it's a nice coffee shop.
Did you pay $30 for that?
I didn't. I was good. I just wanted to see the shop. I didn't go during they had a Domino's tournament. That was the big thing.
Very cool.
The day before the Miami game. So that was
Chandler, would you buy it? Because Chandler loves an expensive drink. He loves Air One.
Like, there's this viral $19 strawberry at Air One, and I haven't bought it, but I probably end up will. I will.
A $19 strawberry.
One strawberry. One strawberry.
By the way, I picked Air One's ridiculous. I picked up 2 smoothies for me and my wife yesterday. $49 for 2 smoothies. I'm like, where did speaking of audacity, that's
the audacity, Anthony.
Sounds like a store for rich stupid people. If you go buy $19 strawberry, and Anthony, speaking of money, you reported about Jonathan Kuminga possibly seeking a 5-year $225. Is there any world where you think the Warriors entertain the idea of giving him that type of deal?
Well, see, and this is April Fool's, and I'm glad I was hearing y'all on the last on the interview with DeAndre Jordan talking about April Fool's. I didn't report that. Somebody just put that out.
Got again.
Yeah, that was one of those aggregation accounts. I hate stuff like that. I had people at the arena coming up to me asking me, where'd you say that? I couldn't find where you said that. It was just another I don't know, troll account, whatever, aggregation account that said he's seeking 225 and the Warriors were thinking about trading him. It's not even that time of year where you're talking extension or you're talking trade. So I'm almost glad you asked that because I had a lot of people thinking that was a legitimate report. I did not report that.
Okay, we need to clip this. So this is what we put out today on social. So it's once and for all. Don't ask Anthony about that story. It's not real. All right, perfect.
Thank you. I actually, because I didn't want to entertain it online. You don't want to be like, hey, false report over here. But yeah, no, I'm glad you asked because that is not happening right now. I didn't report.
Didn't tell it again.
What a world we live in. Anthony, Draymond Green feels like he single-handedly talked himself into the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. Obviously, we know his value, but how important is he, just on that side of the floor, defensively communicating, doing all the things he does? And with Wemby obviously not in position and, not playing, is it his to lose at this point?
Vegas would say yes. We'll see. I like Lou Dort's candidacy. I like Draymond's. I like Evan Mobley's. I loved Wemby's, but you don't get his anymore. And then Dyson Daniels. I think those are your 4 locks for first team, and then it's going to be, pick and choose. I will say I think the Warriors need to finish in the 3, 4, 5 range for him to win it. They can't fall down to 7, 8.
Look, I know obviously
we can see a guard.
He talked himself. This is an amazing phenomenon. Anthony, I'm glad we got that question out and you got to address it. Thank you, as always. We'll talk soon.
I appreciate y'all.
We'll be right back. Guys, we have 30 seconds to go. Do you want to talk about the strawberry, Chandler? Here's what I think we should do. When we're back in studio, buy 3 of them. I know that's a lot of math. And we will all try them and do a taste test. Or maybe we do a taste test with cheap strawberries.
Worth of strawberries.
Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll buy 2 expensive strawberries and then a couple different cheap strawberries. We'll figure it out.
I'll bring you guys some strawberries.
All right, perfect. Michael Thompson, mañana. Enjoy your Thursday evening, ladies and gents.
Run it up, run it up, run it back, yeah.